What's up guys, it's Ollie from History Profiles, and today's video will be about an unusual type of warrior, the man who fought with no hands, Galvarino. Since the dawn of man, there have been battles, and through battles, savage and brave warriors have emerged. Their lives may have ended, but their deeds and names live on. Anyway, let's dive in. It is said that Galvarino was born in the early 1500s. He belonged to the Mapuche tribe. They were a group of indigenous people who resided in modern-day south-central Chile and southwestern Argentina. Nothing is known of Galvarino's childhood, but we do know about his adulthood. He was a warrior through and through, and would fight in the Arauco War. The Arauco War was a conflict between the colonial Spaniards who sought to conquer and take over the lands of the Mapuche people. The war began as the Spanish attempted to build and establish cities and force the native Mapuche into servitude. This savage time of greed must have been hard for the Mapuche people. The Spanish seemed to have come from nowhere. They simply appeared one day on the shore on great ships. This must have shocked and terrified the tribal people of Chile. The Spanish would go on slave hunting expeditions. They would abduct the native women and pillage the settlements of the native people. This would ultimately make the Mapuche people go to war, even though they had been outnumbered and fought with Bronze Age weapons such as spears and arrows made from obsidian, whilst their enemy the Spanish had guns, cannons, horses and steel longswords. Galvarino fought against the Spanish in the Battle of Laguilas, which took place on November the 8th, 1557, near the Bio River. With the Spanish having artillery, they broke the Mapuche's attacks. The Spanish cavalry would then charge in, taking advantage of the chaos caused by the disorder of their superior firepower. For the Mapuche people, it must have been complete devastation, for the weapons of the Spanish were like nothing they had ever seen before. In this battle, over 300 Mapuche were slaughtered, and around 150 warriors were captured, including Galvarino. The warriors were tried for rising against their so-called new government and authority, even though the lands were theirs. The prisoners were then condemned to amputation of their hands. Galvarino would then have both his hands cut off, leaving him mutilated and maimed. Unlike many other of his comrades, Galvarino survived this ordeal and was then released. This was to send a message to the Mapuche people, but they would not be broken. Galvarino made his way back to his tribe. He was no longer whole, but his mind had been strengthened. He told the general of the Mapuche, Caupolicán, how the Spanish conquistadors were in their land, which installed fear in the general. Caupolicán and his war council of Mapuche warriors were full of despair, not knowing what to do. Galvarino then showed them his stumps and cried out for justice. He wished to make a final stand against their enemy, who threatened their way of life and had caused so much devastation in their land. The war council were moved that Galvarino still had the will to fight. He was then named by the war council to command a regiment of warriors. Galvarino had no hands, but he still had fight left in him. He acquired 2 large knives and fastened them to his mutilated wrists, replacing his hands, birthing the fearsome warrior he became. He spent time training and adjusting his new fighting style until it was time. He would then fight side by side with General Caupolicán in the Battle of Miarupe. The Spanish army had made camp in Miarupe. Galvarino and his fellow Mapuche tried to ambush the Spanish at dawn. The Mapuche advanced to attack the Spaniards. Galvarino led the attack, charging with his mutilated arms. The battle was fierce and lasted from dawn to the early afternoon. Galvarino was in the thick of the fighting, trying to get to Governor Mendoza, who had styled himself as the Governor of Chile. He even killed his second in command. During the battle, it is said that Galvarino commanded his men and made a speech to inspire them, as the odds were against them. He said, "My brothers, see that you will fight very well. You do not want to be as I am, without hands, so that you won't be able to work or eat." He then raised his arms high, showing them the cause to fight harder, with more spirit. He then said, "Nobody shall flee, unless it's to the afterlife. We die defending our mother country." Galvarino then moved ahead of his comrades and screamed, "I shall be the first to die." After a long and fierce battle, Governor Mendoza's command broke Galvarino's squadron. The Mapuches were defeated. 3,000 men lay dead on the battlefield, and 800 of them were captured. Galvarino fought with a trance-like fury and managed to stay alive despite his lack of hands and suicidal behaviour. Galvarino was captured once again, and it is said that Governor Mendoza had him executed by having him thrown to the dogs. He was then torn to death. Even though the Spaniards won the battle against the Mapuche tribe, Galvarino's bravery and will to fight another day will always be remembered. The love a man has for his mother country and fellow countrymen in a time of war and strife cannot be matched. As we can see, it can drive a man to do incredible and unthinkable acts. Galvarino's bravery was unmatched. Knowing the chance of victory was slim, he still would fight on, knowing his death was inevitable. I hope you enjoyed the story of this legendary warrior. If you liked the video, make sure to like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.